Guess where we are? I am thrilled with what's happened with the geraniums since I brought them in about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They didn't even have any blooms. Anyhow, the reason I had to bring them in is because of the change in the season, right? And there was frost due, and frost dew, get it? Frost is dew that froze, and there we have it, melting with the rising sun across the street here. And there's our forsythia, pretty much barren of leaves. A little bit of frost. No, I don't see any frost down here on the ground. So it was just a very light frost last night. We are on the edge of a big warm-up and a subtle cool back down. So it is not an easy forecast. There are big changes going on in the long wave waves, and then other little short waves riding along the top of the long waves. So it reminds me a little bit of when I went surfing for the first time ever, pretty much first time ever. In 1995, Hurricane Felix was offshore, and it just sent this huge swell up, and Dave Croppa at Cinnamon Rainbows gave me a surfboard and said, go on out there, try and surf. And I ended up seasick because the waves were going up and down and around and around. Barely made it, but now I enjoy it, and I thank Dave. Anyhow, all right, let's look at the waves. First of all, there's a little short wave coming through New England this morning. There's a weak cold front in northern New England, and it looks like it's trying to snow a little bit again at J, and I think I can just make out a cloud. So there is a subtle boundary between the warmer air trying to come back in and a new batch of cold that's actually going to win out at the ski areas and keep us cold enough to keep on making snow with a few snow showers in northern New England for the next, say, 24 hours into Thanksgiving morning, but nothing to disrupt our Thanksgiving travel. The big storm we've been talking about and wondering about is onshore now. It's over Montana, and it's elongating. Much of it's going into Canada, and it's going to break into half. The other half is going to go to Texas, and guess who gets a day after the Thanksgiving snowstorm? Texas gets its private little snowstorm. I think the Euro numbers here are overdone with 2 feet of snow near Dalhart, but anyhow, that's the cool air that's going to Texas is separating from the long wave. So a short wave is going to fall into Texas. The long wave is going to push warmer air across northern Canada and into the backside of some colder air that's coming into New England after the northern branch of that storm's front goes by here Friday. So you get that right. That system over the middle of the country breaks in two. The northern branch sends another cold front through here with a mix of rain at lower elevations and snow at higher elevations near the Canadian border on Friday. And then we are all in the cooler air and fairly windy Friday night and Saturday. Now that's a short wave that's going to come in and bring us brief cool, but the long wave is going to push warmer air back in our direction on Sunday, and that's when the southern part of that storm from Texas is going to lift out and come up here. And it looks like mostly rain on Sunday, and I was hoping to get that timing into the afternoon, but it looks like it may be much of the day for us, right in the middle of the day. And there will be some snow at the onset and on the backside in northern New England at the higher elevations with that one on Sunday, and then back into the cooler air on Monday. And then the long wave is really moving. So the long wave we've had with the big trough over the United States and all the cold air, that's lifted out now, and we're going to have new cold air and a long wave, short wave in the west, and that's why it's going to snow a lot more in the west over the next 10 days than the east. But even though we have the ridging in the east, a bunch of little things coming out of Canada could bring us brief periods of snow in our mountains and rain or snow south and really fluctuating temperatures, but for the most part we're going to go probably warmer than the climatological average into the beginning of December. We're losing the negative North Atlantic oscillation right now, and we are gaining a very strong negative Pacific North American pattern, and that favors troughing in the west. But it's pretty interesting, and the NAO may go negative strong again into the next week of December, but the uncertainty on the NAO is just remarkable, really. You see all those different red lines there showing the uncertainty, and we ended up more negative than expected in the last week. So anyhow, that negative is good for us. It brings the cold back into eastern Canada and sends the storms more south of us. But for right now, it's looking a little bit like it did last December, where you do get the cold, but then there's warmer. The pattern features the storms running up to the west of us, so it's briefly warmer when the storms go by. So that's our Thanksgiving update. Yesterday I did spend a really fun day at the Blue Hill Area Ski Lodge, where I learned to ski probably in about 1976 when I was in about 6th grade. And yesterday I got to teach 6th graders inside the lodge because the observatory is still under construction. But anyhow, all the guns are sitting out there. It looks like Blue Hill tries to make snow on December 10th or so. That's what they said. But I got to show the kids the guns up close, which was really fun. HKD, and I think a couple of them might have even been paying attention. Hopefully you paid attention to this. I know that my long wave, short wave discussion was kind of up and down, round and round. Anyhow, we'll do an update tomorrow morning for Thanksgiving, and today I'm going to hopefully start up the J blog season and do a snowcast later and be more snow specific with all this random talk. Okay, see you out there. See you on the slopes of Blue Hill, where we ran up and ran down. I think it's next season. There they are. There are the soldiers. The HKD crew ready to pound some snow, but not quite yet at Blue Hill. What a day. Come on out, sunshine. Melody, come here. I want to see the sun. Where's the sun? There it is, way up there. Come on up. Come here. We got to talk about the weather. What school you guys from?
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Franklin D. Roosevelt. What grade?
6th grade.
6th grade. So I think you guys are probably about 12 years old or so.
No, I'm 11.
11, 12 years old. How about this weather? Is it interesting or is it boring? How can we make it more interesting? Can anyone see a cloud? What's that? That's a jet plane. What's the temperature up there? Negative 40 degrees.
Oh, wow. There's no clouds at all.
That is a cloud. That white thing is a cloud. HKD snowmaking. How do you think these machines turn air and water into snow? Yes, that does it also. Look at all those different heads. Those are all for different densities of water and air mixed together at high pressure sprayed into the atmosphere. So if we spray water vapor into the atmosphere and it's cold enough, what is the water vapor going to do? Freeze. And it's going to land as ice and snow. And these snow guns are going to be on pretty soon. So there's two different kinds here. You can see those ones with the solid head. Those focus a jet stream of energy. And then these other ones with the big fans, they spray a huge cone that's like 20 feet in diameter up into the sky. And they've got lights on them. And notice the base of these things. What's at the base of them?
Like skis.
Like skis, right. So you can tow these around the mountain. And so this one's called a tower gun because it's on a tower and you can put it way up in the sky. These other ones just go on the ground. Yeah, I know you're really interested. This is where I learned to ski, by the way, and maybe you guys can learn to ski here too.
From a distance with the picture post photos from the tower, and then Craig Austin, our citizen science person, the biggest contributor.
Iceberg, jet ahead.
Okay, okay. I'm not walking with you, right?
Go around it. Go around it. This way.
What if I die? This way. Imagine I die.
If you slip and fall, you got to call a forensic meteorologist after you call your lawyer. Prospect Hill ski team. Actually, the lift was going just a few minutes ago. Getting their rust off for a new season.
Stop! Tell you to go ahead.
Stop now. Complete opposite of the
Kids
direction.
these days, just like kids in the olden days.
So we looked at the view from the top of the tower. Now, if we look out this way, that's one of the indicators that the observers and the other paid monitors
Wachusett, 42 miles away.
determine how clear the sky is. How well do we see?
picture post day on a picture postcard day. Blue Hills Observatory and Ski Area, and 6th grade from the Roosevelt School. Good times. Loudest owl I've ever heard here, Rex. Or two. Is that great horned owl?